Huncho Jack is definitely Travis Scott's most slept on album. The beats are crazy, and in this video we're going to break down what makes them so special. Looking back on Travis's 2016 to 2017 era, I think it's 1, underappreciated, and 2, massively influential. At the time, every producer wanted to be like Q Beats with the ethnic samples. I mean, these albums simply would not exist without their contribution. They worked on 3 songs on Huncho Jack, one of those being Moonrock. Money can make a knot, how not? First, we need to replicate that eerie ascending chord progression. I used mostly minor chords and added in notes close to each other to create dissonance. Sound selection is also very important. Q Beats are famous for using detuned sounds to enhance the dark vibe that they're going for, so I used the Warp preset in Retro Roads, which is from my new vintage production suite, Layers Legacy Edition. Almost all the sounds in this video are from the kit. It's out right now, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later. Bells were also a popular sound in this era. A great example is on Saint. Yeah, mama built the Saint. Yeah, counting up the O's, I think. Yeah. The key to achieving a sound like this is through texture. First, you have to use the right sound, so I grabbed 2 one-shots from Layers Legacy. The main sound is playing an ascending melody, matching the chords, and the other sound is more percussive. Next, I did a simple synth hit on the 1. Then I had to add some more live instruments. Take Dubai Shit for example. Dubai shit. Dubai whips. It sounds like there are chopped and reversed strings and guitars, so I found 2 phrases from Layers Legacy, chopped them up, leaving us with this. With all these elements, we have a nice foundation, but it needed to progress more. I first put the Rhodes up an octave and added in an extra melody. Then I took more inspiration from Moonrock. When the B section of the sample comes in, you can hear this reversed guitar melody. I recreated that with a Layers Legacy one-shot. Second to last, I added an acoustic bass, and finally we have these super glossy chords. Like I said, Layers Legacy Edition is out right now. It's the ultimate vintage production suite with over 3 GB of sounds, but it's not your typical bundle. Of course, you have the hundreds of one-shots, accents, phrases, drums, MIDI and samples made using vintage effects and instruments, but for the first time, I'm bringing you guys the timeless VST collection. It includes Retro Rhodes sampled from a real Fender Rhodes, vintage upright made using a Hoffman upright piano, and also Eternal Synth, which has 50 presets sampled from iconic instruments such as the DX7. Make sure you don't miss out, hit the link in the description and get your copy. Oh, and use code LEGACY10 for 10% off, valid for 1 week only, so be quick. Now the drums on Huncho Jack were done by the best in the game. On Moonrock, Vinyls and Alan Ritter used simple rolls to create bounce. I started ours by using a rim, hi-hat and perks. Then I finished it off with a kick and 808. Before we move on, it wouldn't be right doing a Travis video without adding some Mike Dean elements. He added his touches to the album on songs like the title track. To get something close, I opened up Eternal Synth from Layers Legacy and first chose this lead, adding an arpeggiated melody. Then I chose another lead as well as a bass, leaving us with this. Now of course, this wasn't just Travis's album, and Quavo added a lot to the project. One of those things being Buddha Bless This Beat. He produced the intro track, Modern Slavery. All these damn chains, modern slavery. To get a similar vibe, I kind of reverse engineered things, so when the sample is chopped, Buddha is basically using a 1-5 progression. Keeping that in mind, you can use any progression you like as long as it's soulful and includes those chords. I began by using the vintage upright piano Warp preset, then we had to add the main sound, a guitar. I added this one shot and importantly used a guitar amp with a tremolo preset. After that, I added some accents, including guitar and piano. Then we had to make it sound more realistic by adding drums. And this is perfect for the Layers Legacy drum kit. I made it a multi-purpose kit that can be used to make beats, but it's also perfect for sample makers looking to add more texture to their melodies. I started by adding 2 perk loops. Then I added a kick from the textured folder as well as an acoustic snare. And finally, we have an acoustic bass and some vocals. As I said earlier, the way Buddha flipped the sample was perfect. He essentially used a 1/5 progression by chopping it like this. He then added some jumpy hats and a snare, before finally adding a kick and subby 808. To wrap everything up, I wanted to make an intro similar to what you can hear on Dubai Shit. I started by layering 2 pads from Eternal Synth. I then added 2 accents, and finally an acoustic bass and flute counter melody.